As Australians head into the Christmas shopping season with pockets full of cash and their wealth inflated by rising house prices, retailers have a dilemma. Do they discount or do they try to hold prices and keep more of that money themselves? Here to answer that question is our business editor, Ross Greenwood. Ross, good morning to you. China, right now, giving a glimpse of what's to come.
Oh, it sure is. And I've got to tell you, it's really interesting here for Australian retailers because this is always the dilemma. When do you go on sale and how hard do you go? But it's actually made more complex this year by the fact that there's a shortage of a whole lot of goods. And this is in particular as a result of the shortage of semiconductors or computer chips around the world. And as I say, the real example of this is what's called Singles Day. It's not actually a day, it's almost 11 days in China. And this has been driven by Alibaba, the retail giant there, which over the course of the past day or so has taken orders of the best part of 84 billion US dollars. In other words, 110 billion Australian dollars. But the interesting thing about this year and Alibaba is it's very much more subdued than it's been in previous years. Partly this is China and some of the policies there trying to slow down the economy. Partly it's things such as Evergrande and the property markets there obviously being a little dodgy. And partly it's also this shortage of supply of goods. But then on top of that, a little like the dilemma Australian retailers face, there is a dilemma for Chinese retailers as to what attitude do they take. Do they go in hard and really try and cut their prices to get the business through the door? Or do they simply sit back, wait for the customers to come, hold their prices, knowing A, there's not much stock around the place, and B, really, there's this situation where you might just want to hold onto the margin as well.
OK, now doesn't Alibaba have its own problems, Ross, with its boss Jack Ma apparently on the wrong side of the Chinese government and not seen for months?
Yeah, well, that's true as well. So, actually, there's been a sighting of him. I spotted a photograph of him. We'll spot him here. He's been playing golf in Mallorca, apparently.
Oh, well,
so it's really interesting to see this. So, Jack Ma, of course, Xi Jinping is being trying to impose not only authority over his own parliament, but also authority over business leaders as well. Jack Ma, one of those who literally disappeared. Now, there's been all sorts of allegations of tax, some sort of tax issues that he might have had. And think about the situation with Evergrande, where in that particular case, the boss of Evergrande has been told by the Chinese authorities, your company has problems, it needs to make these interest payments, you put your hand in your own pocket, you're worth billions of dollars. Here's Jack, why wouldn't you be out playing golf in Mallorca if you had a chance?
He's got an interesting roll of his wrists over that shot. I can't help but think that he would have pulled that one.
Mate, you've got to keep your head down, you always know that.
Golf in Mallorca. Wow, what a visual. Hey, so what happens here when those Black Friday sales come around in a couple of weeks' time, Ross?
Yeah, so that's the issue now for Australian retailers. Have they got the stock? They obviously want the sales. Australians have got they're almost like coiled springs wanting to spend money at the moment. And if there's a sale out there, they'll be jumping. Remember also that Black Friday sale, so it's 2 weeks' time today, the biggest shopping event in Australia on the Australian calendar will take place. And so it's a point whereby, what are you going to do? So these are the things that last year were the biggest sellers. It was clothes and shoes, 42%, food and alcohol, 33%, electronics 25%, toys 24%. But this is basically people stocking up ahead of Christmas. And so this Black Friday sale has now become bigger even than the Boxing Day sales, the traditional sales. But a lot of this happens online. And so really, in many ways, with lots of money in their pocket, it's now a case of where the retailers have got the stock so that they can take advantage of these situations.
Good point. OK, let's finish off with Elon Watch. After threatening to sell shares in his company Tesla, has Elon actually gone and done it?
He has. So he's gone out there and he's sold a few shares. Now, the interesting part about this is, of course, Elon had done this famous poll, should I sell my shares? 58% of people came back and said yes. Elon was always going to sell shares. And the reason is he'd taken stock options in, right? And so Elon has a tax bill that is worth billions upon billions of dollars. And so what's happened is that Elon has basically gone and traded in those stock options, triggering a massive tax event. And as a result, he needed to sell these shares to be able to get himself out of the tax strife that had occurred as a result of the performance bonus. Remember also that these Tesla shares, which had collapsed as he suggested he was going to sell, have now started to rebound just that little bit. It looks like yet another very interesting, shall I say, stunt by the boss of Tesla.
Nothing is ever as it seems, is it, Ross? Now, did you catch the cricket this morning? Quite a finish, wasn't it?
What's that? The cricket.
Cricket.
Unbelievable. That's 3 sixes in a row. So very good to see that the Southern Hemisphere sides are dominating all those Northern Hemisphere sides at the moment.
Good to see what a final that's going to be. Ross, good to see you. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon.